Experts have tasked Nigerians to do more in protecting children with disabilities from discrimination, violence, and societal neglect. This was during a stakeholders meeting in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, where they urged government to prioritize their education and work towards mainstreaming disability-inclusive budgeting for children with disabilities and other to help them achieve their potentials. Marvelous Ubomanu reports.
According to UNICEF, about 95% of children with disabilities in developing countries are out of school. 90% of this lot may never get access to basic education in their lifetime. Data says that 32 million people in Nigeria, including children, live with one form of disability or the other. Also, data from UNESCO reveals that over 10.5 million children are out of school in Nigeria, while experts think 5 to 7 million of these children live with disabilities.
If you're disabled in Nigeria, it's almost equal to your sentence to a life of poverty, your sentence to a life of deprivation. And we're saying that anybody can be disabled at any point in time. Anything can make anybody disabled. So disability should be everybody's business. Everybody should be concerned. So we're using this meeting, this opportunity to call on government to address this issue. It's a big problem. If you solve education, if you get education right, you have solved as good as 70% of the problem. Today you're able, tomorrow you can wake up and you have stroke. You join the gang. You could wake up and then you have kidney disease or you have amputation from accidents. You've joined the gang,
At this workshop, organized by the Irede Foundation in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, experts are calling on government to ensure inclusive education for children with disabilities in Nigeria, focusing on implementing policies that will encourage their schooling.
If these children do not have access even to the classrooms where they are supposed to learn, or to the transportation that is going to bring them to the place where they are going to learn, or even the information that there's free education available, which is what we're advocating for these children, then you realize that in itself is the barrier. So we need to break the barrier of accessibility and make sure that these children can have the needed access to the places where they can learn and play with their typical.
There are a number of structures that you go into. There is no lift, there is no ramp for a person with a wheelchair to even access that environment. So I think the biggest thing and what we should have at the back of our minds today is inclusion, conversations of inclusion. When we are budgeting, let's budget inclusion. When we are building structures, let's put structures in place that persons with disability can really access.
We are leaving out a chunk member of our society who should have been more productive, who should have contributed in one way or the other to the progress of our society. And because we have not been able to make them become more acceptable by us, you are keeping them away from the system.
With a growing disability community in Nigeria, experts are hoping that government can mainstream them into the nation's workforce to help contribute to the development of the country. Marvelous Ubomanu, reporting for News Central.